Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, not here with Geeky Sparkles. She's sitting this one out. We're going to talk about Funko Pops. We're going to talk about comic shops. And Funko's not doing too good, guys. I mean, Funko hasn't been doing good for the last couple of years, and I think the bubble is about to burst. And I have to wonder what is going to happen to all those comic shops that relied on Funko Pop sales over the last couple of years. Now, according to industry publications, they're saying that there's a boon in floppy comic book sales. We'll see. We'll see if that lasts, and it seems to be just strictly Marvel and DC stuff for the most part, with the exception of Energon Universe. But we're going to talk about this article from ICV2, talking about Funko sales. We're going to talk about how they got here, and again, they basically just overproduced these things, and it's insane how many Funko Pops they have. It's insane that every minor character in every game, every movie, every TV show has a Funko Pop. And a lot of them, if it didn't say on the box what the character was, you would not be able to tell because they all look the same, right? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And then we'll talk about comic shops, and they're trying to case build that more shops are opening. But if you kind of read between the lines, I'm like, are they really profitable, or are they just hobby shops done, run by hobbyists who have other things going on? That's the issue. And I have to wonder what the long tail of the diamond collapse is going to be too. That is also another issue. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, again, Geeky sitting this one out. As of recording this video, there's about half an hour left on her Christmas pins. No, yeah, a little bit over half an hour. We're going to leave the campaign open for a week or two beyond, just to get some, kind of some stragglers in. So if you didn't back right away, we still will have some extra pins from our initial order that will be available. And then we'll just close out when we feel like that's it. We've sold everything and we're done. But thank you so much for the support. Actually, this campaign did better than I thought it was going to do. So comics are back, baby, because the comic adjacent pins did well. We're going to try not to Funko ourselves. We're going to try to just produce what we have a demand for, and not have warehouses and shipping containers full of unsold tchotchkes and junk. And that seems to be what's going on with Funko. We've talked about it over the last year or so. They actually brought, and I don't even know why they would do this, the woman who ran Wizards of the Coast into the ground. They brought her in to run Funko, and she helped bury it even deeper into the ground in the span of a year. And then they fired her. And but now they're still in Hurtsville. I think somebody is going to acquire Funko. I think somebody has to acquire Funko. But if they do, they're going to have to cut back on the number of pops they produce. I remember when it was a pretty easy thing to collect. They only put a few out, every year. They didn't have a ton of them. I mean, I remember when people were like, wow, they have 100 Funko Pops now. I'm like, no, they just made 100 Funko Pops last month. I mean, seriously. Funko sales and profits in decline. This comes from ICV2. Funko reported sales and profit declines in the most recent quarter and has continuing liquidity concerns as it wrestles with tariffs and declining demand. I would say the latter more than the former. Basically, their margins weren't great. They have to charge more, and that's probably going to chase off customers anyway because people just aren't buying these things like they used to. So this is according to its Q3 2025 earnings report. Worldwide sales were down 14% to $250 million, down from $292 million in the year ago period. U.S. sales were down 20%, accounting for $39 million of the $41 million decline. Wow. After currency conversion, Funko lost almost $1 million in Q3 compared to an $8.94 million profit in Q3 2024. While a big improvement from the $41 million loss it reported in Q2, Funko has little room to maneuver without running out of cash. Yeah, the last time we did a video on Funko, I believe we came across an article that said in the reports that they had maxed out all their lines of credit, and I think they had like one credit line open that had like $500 or something, or $50, and it was insane. Although the company was able to negotiate some relief on its loan agreements after the initial crisis earlier this year, it's now forecasting it will not be able to meet the requirements of its renegotiated loan covenants. It must raise additional cash or negotiate further loan relief or be in default. Wow. Okay, that led the company to continue the growing concern opinion on its financials. Growing concern means we are completely, totally fucked. We just don't want to tell shareholders that. But we are. We're there's like no way out. The only way out for Funko is if they sell the company at this point. I don't know what they can do. I'm going to be honest. I mean, they went in so hard on these damn Funko Pops. Now, it used to just be one thing that they produced. They used to produce a lot of different things. And then they went and they bought some other companies like Loungefly and Mondo. Especially Mondo does really nice work. And they bought Mondo, and I was concerned as soon as it came out that they bought Mondo, because I'm like, Funko's going to run this into the ground, or they're going to go out of business, and that's going to be the end of Mondo too. But Mondo probably saw the writing on the wall too. They're like, seriously, what is the market long term for $200 or $300 action figures? They said there's substantial doubt about our ability to continue as a growing concern for the next 12 months. Wow. Substantial doubt about our ability to continue. That means we're done. We know we're done, but we're basically done. The company described a challenging retail environment where retailers have slowed their restocking, prioritized lower inventory levels, and in some cases have canceled their orders. Yeah, a lot of retailers are cutting back. Funko Pops are not as popular as they used to be. You're not seeing as many in Walmart, thank God. But comic shops, most affected. Like, you go to comic conventions and comic shops for years, and they have walls of Funko Pops. And I think that's coming to an end, right? I think it is. Much of the difficulty are attributed to tariffs. No. You got no. Let's back it up here. Like, I'm not a big fan of the tariffs, right? But these companies were having problems before the tariffs. And it's just like the board game industry. They're trying to blame everything on tariffs. It's like, no, that was the kill shot. And it's also a convenient excuse. Your company's failing. Oh, look, guys, the tariffs. It's kind of like, I didn't do my assignment for school and everybody's sick because the flu's going around. I'm just going to say I got the flu too and not go into school today. And, so I don't have to give my report or whatever. The truth is they're using it as an excuse. Funko has been in decline publicly, for at least 4 years now. And that was long before the tariffs. Sorry. Tariffs reduce net sales, gross margin, and net income, and could impact consumer discretionary spending in future periods. Yeah, I mean, the Funko Pops are what, like $10 now? If they got charged $15, $20 for one of those little bastards, nobody's going to pay it. This is the first quarterly report. New CEO Josh Simon, who did point to some positive developments, including good sales of Bitty Pops, which will be out of aisle displays at 1,800 Walmarts this year. A push into more blind box products, including expansion of its mystery minis and premium blind box lines, and a planned expansion of vending machines and Pop Yourself kiosks. Funko is one of the few companies that will have merch tied to K-pop Demon Hunters on store shelves for the holiday season. They need to get away from just doing the pop vinyls. Again, Funko made a lot of other stuff before they did the pop vinyls, and they did okay. And they really need to kind of go back to the drawing board and come up with some new products and then not kill it. Like, the Funko Pop machine is just, it's insane. It's the new Beanie Babies. There's way too many of them. Funko confirmed that a sale of the company and other strategic transactions continue to be under consideration, along with the search for new debt financing. Who would buy it? Hasbro's trying to get out of toys. They're actually outsourcing a lot of their toys to other companies like Playmates and Basic Fun. Like, who the hell would buy Funko? I guess they have Loungefly and stuff too, but I'm like, I don't understand. It's, again, they had everything going for them, but I think they got greedy and they were like, okay, well, we can just keep making Funko Pops forever and this bubble's never going to burst. And here we are, right? So let's yeah, if you go out to Google AI, again, this is Google AI, so take it for what it's worth. But yeah, their problems started in 2022, 2023. They're riding high in 2022 because they're coming out of the pandemic. And then they just started making more and more and more product. And now here we are within 3 years. Within 3 years, they basically run everything into the ground. And I totally think Cynthia Williams had something to do with that. I mean, again, this is the woman that ran Dungeons and Dragons into the ground on her watch. Like all of this idiocy, the virtual tabletop, the OGL debacle, all that stuff was on her watch. And if she's working anywhere, I don't know, I think she picked up another job someplace else. I'm like, my God, I would stay as far away from her as possible. I mean, she's going to be given the CEO of Cracker Barrel a run for her money. Like, who is the worst CEO out there right now? And she definitely is one of them. But let's talk about the comic shop situation just in general. Funko Pops were propping up comic book stores for years as consumers lost interest in new comic books. And now apparently, this is what they're saying. They're saying that floppy comic sales are up like 18%. Now everybody's trying to make this out like, oh my God, guys, this is the best thing ever. Comics are so back. And it's like, no, there's been a lot of hype for the Absolute line. Energon's doing really well. You know, they've got some events and stuff. They're bringing people back. But I personally do not believe that floppy comics, I'm not talking manga, I'm not talking graphic novels, floppy comics, I personally do not believe they're making this massive resurgence. I think it's some people that are somewhat curious buying them because it's a good jumping on point for like Absolute or Ultimate or something like that. And I think it's a lot of old heads maybe coming out and buying stuff that they haven't bought in a while. Now, overall, you could probably argue that the quality of the comic books being put out are probably better than they were 5 years ago, just overall. But then I'm seeing something like, I'm not buying a lot of monthly, but I'm not buying any monthly books currently. Even Energon, I kind of got burnt out on it, trying to keep up with it. But yeah, I saw some pages floating around of the new Batman series, and I had some hope for that because I like the costume design. I like that they had Tim Drake, but it was all about like Batman and Tim Drake's boyfriend in the hospital. I'm like, geez, why are we doing this? That's, I don't know. That's a whole nother issue. I'm very angry about what they did to Tim Drake, but I don't know. I think it's a short-term bump. I don't think comics are so back. I really don't. I think manga, with younger readers, manga and webtoon are supplanting or taking over the space that floppy comics used to occupy. And they're really damn expensive too. I mean, I'm sorry, $5 for, 20 pages of story, 22 pages of story, decompressed storytelling. I mean, that's insane. It's not a good value proposition at all. And I think they're trying to ride the wave of collectability too with, cards now, trading cards, Magic and Pokemon, all that. But yeah, I don't think comics are so back. Now we actually did have a shop. We're actually kind of winding it down now. We did not carry floppy comics. I don't think we ever got a request for floppy comics. We had some manga, some graphic novels, but nobody walked in and said, hey, do you have Absolute Batman? I really think you should start carrying, comics here because I really want Absolute Batman. Not a single person. The like 4 years that we were running that store. But apparently people are opening shops. Now, again, this is part of me is like, is this actually going on? Or is this like the comic book industry trying to make a case for its continued existence, especially post Diamond? Because things are not good right now. I mean, that is going to take out a bunch of shops because a lot of shops are basically just like Diamond franchisees. Like they just ordered everything from Diamond. And now they can't do that. And these are all games shops too. Games are big right now. Cards are big. I mean, I'll give you that. But this, again, is coming from ICV2. They're talking about Christopher and Elizabeth Eklund. They opened Ecky's Cards and Games in Washington. But they said there's a lot of learning involved and a lot of decisions to be made. Both of us work So we also have to coordinate appointments around our already packed schedules. Well, that's not really like a full-time comic shop, right? Here's another one, Miniature Realms and Adventures in Rockville, PA. There you go. Bringing a new dimension on tabletop gaming with a store filled with miniature dioramas of game settings. The owner says the idea is to create tiny physical representations of the action and role-playing games. This is Lancaster, PA. So they said, yeah, they're doing a lot of minis. And again, tabletop's doing better, I think. Shore Gamers of Monmouth, New Jersey is moving to a newer and more high-profile dig. Apparently, digs. New space has more than twice the area of the old one. Chase Clark, the owner of the newly opened TCG Specialty Store, Cards of Ruin. I'm seeing a pattern here. They're all game stores. I don't think there are any comic shops, are there? This is a game store, a game store, a game store, another game store. Oh, here we go. Superhero Sanctuary Comics and More in Tennessee. And here's another one in the UK. So, but how many more went out of business, and how many are going to go out of business if they can't get their Funko Pops? I don't know, guys. But, you know, I mean, I don't understand the thought process behind this, because it was very clear that people were losing interest in these, but, you know, whatever. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.